the general on the field. Get ready for the pressure. It's time to talk college football. Here he is, the Bomber. This is Bomb3r's Blitz. The phones are open. Make the call. Join the Blitz. Here he is, the Bomber. This is Bomb3r's Blitz. Bomb3r's Blitz. The phones are open. Make the call. Join the Blitz. College football starts right now. Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Bomb3r's Blitz right here on the College Football Mafia channel. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. Let me get my headlines up for tonight so everybody knows what we're talking about. Yes, I'm working with different graphics. Yes, I don't know what styles I like. I was getting kind of tired of the hollow ones. I'm not sure everybody was seeing them. So I'm going to put them in my beautiful Day Glow Seattle Seahawk green and blue background to go with everything else. I appreciate everybody else being here tonight, regardless of you're a Seahawks fan or not. This is a college football channel, and I appreciate you all being here. It should be a fun show. Another great night where we'll take calls, go through a ton of your comments, and get involved on kind of what's going on in storylines in college football. Make sure, if you're watching for the first time, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Turn on the bell so you get notified. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube to at the College Football Mafia and at Bomber_CFB Mafia. Make sure that E is a 3. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. It should be a lot of fun. As always, Daniel Gygax is in the background. He is marking or not marking your comments depending on how nice or not nice you are to the hosts and moderators of this show. I appreciate everybody being here. Just you kiss up to Daniel. He'll more than likely pull your comment for me to mark later. He'll mark it for me to use later. As everybody knows, I defer to members' comments all the time. I'll give you an example of a member's comment. Very first one that dropped off, and I don't know why it does, so I'm going to give him a second shout out. That would be the Ryan Willie, Evil Badgers. Early hours ago, he made a comment saying, hey, at College Football Mafia, so I want to make sure I give him a shout out. Hey, Ryan, good to see you. Ryan Willie is a super fan of the Wisconsin Badgers. The way you know he's a member of the College Football Mafia family, see that little symbol next to his name? That means he is a member. So he's here for members shows, member-only shows, member-only shorts, stuff that we do for members only during the season. Should be a lot of fun. Tomorrow night, right now obviously schedules can change, but right now, tomorrow night, I am planning a members show right here at the same bat channel, same bat time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, members only. So if you want to have access to that show, either become a new member, or if you're a member, you're always active and you know how to get to our special shows and videos that we do. Wild Ute University, Moan Confidential, everything we do for the members. That's what you would be invited to participate in tomorrow night. I've got a couple ideas about what that show's going to be about. It's going to be unique, though. It's not going to be something that I cover tonight. It'll be something else. I haven't completely settled on this story. I've got a couple in my head. So as soon as I have that show built, I will put it out. It'll either be tomorrow night or Thursday night, probably tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I invite everyone, if you're watching right now and you're not a member, make sure you go to College Football Mafia on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button first. We're building our subscriber base up all the time. Please do us a favor. It's free. Hit subscribe and give us a comment. Give us the thumbs up. Let us know how we're doing, and we read those as well. But building that membership base, we defer to member comments, and then I read all super chats. The way to become a member of Super Chat, just next to the comment box on your screen, just hit the little picture of a dollar bill with the person's profile, and you can go there, and there's Super Chat, Super Stickers. There's a bunch of those. and then you can either gift memberships or become a member yourself. So that's what we do around here. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. Usually have cover notes to the first part of the show, comments interspersed, and then we get to your phone calls. And depending on how the stories go, sometimes I go to phone calls like I did last week, earlier than later. So don't miss it. Stick around. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Let's do some quick shout-outs for the people who were here early. Ryan Willie, I already did his. So I'm going to do Outlaw Skies is fifth, always fifth, in the house. He's actually second tonight. Go Buckeyes. Outlaw Skies is a member of the College Football Mafia family, a super fan of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Daniel Gygax, as I said, saying hi everyone. Daniel's in the background, so don't piss him off. Greg, Disney's Adventures in the house, super fan of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Greg's been a member, long-standing member of the College Football Mafia family, and we appreciate him being with us regardless, saying, hey everyone, good to see you, Greg. Bob Swanger, another valuable OG member of the College Football Mafia family, saying hi, good evening, College Football Mafia. Good to have you here. Old Dad 75. Yes, he is an old dad, and he is 75 years old, and he also is a member of the College Football Mafia family, saying, yo, greetings from wilderness of also-rans. Let's go. Florida State cannot be an also-ran, can they? Really? That sucks. If Florida State's an also-ran again, I'm going to be pissed. You got to win, old dad. We need you guys to win. Florida State's got to win. It's better. For college football, Florida State is good. Skaven, yes, go Big Red. Super fan of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Another member of the College Football Mafia family saying, hello, Bomber. Good to have you here tonight, old dad. And again, this is a cheat code. If you use my name in one of the comments, I generally read those because I like saying my own name, you know. That's kind of fun. Bruce Harris Law, a newer member, but valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Certainly appreciate his opinion, saying Boomer. And I have to say Sooner, Oklahoma Sooners in the house. Good to have you here, Bruce. I appreciate you very much. Mark's Holy Grail, another contributing member of the viewership of the College Football Mafia family. Also somebody who is somewhat aficionado of the college football playoff formats. His favorite is 14, 16, fine, 24, 20. I don't know about 20. We haven't talked about that yet. 24 is okay, but anything's better than 12. So Mark's Holy Grail and I are on that page, and that's going to be my first story when I get to news and notes, Mark, so don't go away. Kenneth Maynard, super fan of the Florida Gators, also an Eastern Carolina Pirate. Where have all your Eastern Carolina Pirates logos gone? Kenneth, I love cheering those out as well. Regardless, happy Tuesday, Bomber. Happy Tuesday to you, Kenneth. Let's see here. Mama Duck, Clemson Tigers in the house. Becoming an OG member of the College Football Mafia family. Appreciate you, Mama Duck. Clemson Tiger. That shows you that college football wears many hats as a fan. Hello. Good to see you tonight. BYU Football, Shonsky, another member of the College Football Mafia family, saying hi, everyone. That's something else I should shout out. If you're new around here, you'll see all the members shouting each other out, saying, hey, how you doing? This isn't about themselves. This channel and these shows aren't generally selfish. They're about stuff that we can do for you guys. So it's good to see you here tonight, Shonsky. Hi, everyone. Let's see. Morris Simmons, another Florida State Seminole in the house. Also, Morris is a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family, saying, hello, everyone. Go Noles. I love fans of school. I love fans of universities, of teams, of brands. I love that so much. That's why I'm here, actually. Let's see here. 7L Big Easy. 7L Big Easy. I'm not sure what that means, but it's good to have you here. And I think that looks like an Ohio State helmet. That looks like a skull, I guess. I hope I get that right. Sorry, I'm not always great with pictures, but that's what I think it is. I hope it's Ohio State. Certainly let me know if it's somebody else. But good evening all, and go Buckeyes. See right there, I could have read his comment and known that was an Ohio State Buckeyes helmet. Good to have you here. 7-pound Big Easy. I'm going to maybe say it that way. 7-pound Big Easy. We'll go with that. Good to have you here tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment or question. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know how we're doing here. 7-pound Big Easy. Ryan Willie, $5 super chat. Also a valuable member, OG member of the College Football Mafia family. ESPN SEC 20-team CFP is a joke. Yes, it is, Ryan, and I will get to that in just 2 shakes here. I completely agree. In fact, I'm going to get to it right now because there's no new comments that I need to read. So let's get to headlines. Let's start with, and I was working with new pictures. There we go. We're going to try this one tonight. See how this works. And I'm going to take off this banner because right now we are going to go with news and notes. That's where we're at tonight. News and notes. I'm going to start off with a comment on my own. That I think I'm always so smart in replying to other people's posts, but we always give credit where credit's due. And this post was originally written by Chris Vanini. He says, so what is this 20-team CFP and where did it come from? I called around. I'm going to answer this for you in just a second if you want more clarification. I'm going to give it to you. It wasn't on today's CFP agenda and was quickly dismissed. It only came up in a meeting when someone asked about Josh Pate's tweet. It would make sense for ESPN. It does make perfect sense for ESPN. It doesn't make sense for anybody else, and I'll tell you why right now. The reason it doesn't make sense for anybody else, and you have to question if the only person reporting it is Josh Pate, because who does he work for? You got it. He works for ESPN. So let me explain, just so everybody knows. It's pretty simple. The 20-team CFP was created out of thin air to protect ESPN's monopoly of the broadcasting rights of the CFP, which everybody should know. And if you don't know, I will remind you, those rights never went to the open market. I'll say that again slower. The rights for the CFP at the last negotiation did not leave ESPN's backyard. It never was bid on, or had a chance to be bid on, frankly, by Fox, by NBC, by CBS. ESPN and the College Football Playoff and the ACC and the SEC. Those 4 together, extremely powerful in college football. I don't think anybody would deny that. It's like the SEC's good because the SEC's good because the SEC's good. And as long as the SEC continues to say it's good, it will always be good. Does everybody understand that logic? Top 25, 16 teams from the SEC. Why is that? And I'm being facetious, obviously. But it's because the SEC is rated as the highest conference because it gets the highest recruiting rankings because it is. And oh, by the way, it's incestuous with ESPN and the College Football Playoff, which is not a playoff at all, is it? It is a tournament. If it's an invitational, it's a 12-team invitational right now. And this is the reason why. 20 teams serves absolutely nobody except for ESPN. We are all getting punked to believe it is anything more than desperation from the worldwide leader. Okay, so you say, okay, Bomber, you're just making this up. You know what you're talking about. I've never seen you before. I'm going to pass by you on X. I will never click on your link again, and you guys suck. Okay? Fine. Think that of me. I have no problem with that. I need somebody to argue. Oh, and I got to do this. Dang it. I forgot to hit post. Sorry. Give me a second. I got to get to the next link. You can argue with me all you want. Argue with this guy. He is Bob Thompson. If you don't know who Bob Thompson is, first of all, friend of this show, one of a handful of shows he actually does live appearances on. Does a lot of recordings. Well, I don't know about a lot. He does recordings, but he comes on this show, frankly, because we earned his respect. But more than that, he knows good viewers. He understands you guys ask good questions, and that he doesn't get that everywhere he goes. So, friend of this show, retired president of Fox Sports, creator of the Big Ten Network. And when I say Fox Sports, I'm not talking about Fox Football. Fox Sports. That's the World Series. That's NASCAR. That's World Cup Soccer. That's. Fox Sports. He was the president of Fox Sports. And this is his quote, commenting on something from Awful Announcing. But I'm going to take, since I'm taking Bob Thompson's quote, I'm going to post it. Expansion beyond 12 works like this. If it goes to 14, no more rights fees paid by ESPN for going from 11 to 13. ESPN continues to hold rights. If it goes to 16, there's a pro rata increase on the 2 extra games. 13 through 15. Beyond 16, the deal is opened up. Does everybody get that? So, if ESPN keeps it to 14, they have absolute control. If they keep it to 16, they have pro rata, which essentially continues to give them control, but they can farm out those games. Technically, they would be the worst games, all the worst matchups in the playoffs. Beyond 16 is opened up. The college football playoffs opened up past 16 to open the market. That means Fox can bid on it. It means Peacock can bid on it. It means I can bid on it. Well, maybe not me. That's why this is such a joke. It's like, I'm good because I'm good because I'm good. Over and over and over again. ESPN does not want it to go any farther than 14 or 16 teams. So you say, how does this apply to 20? It applies to 20 because the way they want to go to 20 is have 4 play-in games, a total of 8 teams, to qualify to play in whatever the 14 or 16 team playoff is. I think if they go to 20, it's 16 teams. So it would be a top 12, which is essentially what it is right now. And then it would be fighting for 4 additional spots. And those 4 spots would not only be playing an extra game, we'll put conference championship games aside, will not only be playing an extra game in front of everybody else in the playoff, but they will be fighting for, then again, whatever those lowest seeds are. So it's adding content without adding value. Does that make sense? 20 teams serves nobody except for ESPN. I would rather see 16 teams and it's all the top 16 and let's go play football. I prefer 24 teams. But 20 teams is a joke. It's an absolute joke. I'll cut back to my original comment because I'm that smart. A 20-team college football playoff service is nobody but ESPN. And I guess itself. So, you know what? I wasn't going to do news, and I was going to do news and calls. And I'm going to actually open up the phone lines right now, okay? I'm going to open up the phone lines. You guys call in, and let's keep it to this for right now. If you guys really want to talk about other stuff on your call, I guess we can do that too. Because, I mean, it is call-in Tuesday night, right? But I prefer we stay on the college football playoff if we can, because that's kind of where we're at right this second. So I'm going to open up the phone lines, and I'm going to put on the... There we go. And for those that don't know, running with scissors, let's go here. This is the phone number to call in, 801-899-6203. 801-899-6203. Call in right now. What are your thoughts on the college football playoff and the 20-team format, the 16-team format, the 14-team format, the 24-team format, college football playoff? That's what I'm starting the show off with tonight. I really want to know you guys' opinions about it. And while I'm waiting for you guys to call in, I'm going to go backwards through comments, most recent, so I can make sure I get all the most recent comments. Oh, here we go. First phone call. Dave. Oh, dang it. Are you there, Ryan? Okay, hang on. Dave in Tampa. When people, I've done this 2 weeks in a row now. Now let me. I gotta turn on audio. Give me 1 second. I gotta make sure we haven't done it. Share this tab instead. We're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go share. Okay, now I think I've got everything active. Daniel, let me know if you can hear Ryan. Dave in Tampa, call me back after Ryan's done. I apologize. I was trying to drop Ryan and pick you up, and I did the reverse. So let's do Ryan and then call back in, Dave. I'd love to talk to you. Ryan, what's up? What's on your mind?
Well, I just think that ESPN and the SEC are not going to go any further than a 16-team playoff, disguised by a 20-team playoff, which will mean, because the Big Ten will never go to 16 without going to 24, we'll be having a 12-team playoff for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
In which I think it's going to actually be a bad thing down the road, because a lot of teams, a lot of schools that might deserve to be in can't get in because of the rankings, and there's no EQ, so it's all depending on the rankings, and ESPN is basically in charge of the committee.
Yep.
And I just think we're going to be stuck at 12 teams for a very long time.
That would be a disaster if that happens. I mean, you're right, it could. I would absolutely, if we, what do we have till December 1st this year, right? To consider a new playoff format. They got to get it done. We got to get to 24.
I believe in a 24. I actually would like to see a 32-team playoff without any buys.
Okay.
And the first 2 rounds of the playoffs would be the higher seed would have a home game.
Right.
And then, between 20 teams and 32, it's basically the same amount of games, because you're playing a game to get into the 16-team playoff.
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense to go to 20.
Yeah, 20 is, like I said, nobody was taking that seriously. I didn't get to the story because I didn't think it deserved the time, but it didn't, they didn't even bring it up in the meeting yesterday. So it made a headline, a flash on ESPN, and Josh Pate commented on it, but the committee during their Zoom call didn't even talk about it. So it's kind of at this point looked at as a joke. But I understand what you're saying about the 32. Look, I want more great football in December. And in my mind, and you and I have had this conversation before. In my mind, the difference between the 12th team and the 24th team in the playoff is not much more than a game or a game and a half in records, generally. You get up there and you're within a game or a game and a half of teams. The drop-off between 24 and 32, I would say, is much larger than that. I would think it'd be, I haven't done the data, but just comparing the teams, I have a pretty good idea that the difference is going to be more than 2. So you're looking at a larger difference between 24 and 32 than you are between 12 and 24. Does that make sense?
Right.
So which is the better quality of football? Just adding filler. You're somebody who needs you need comfort in your life, right? The chairs need to be formed. You need to have specifics taken care of so that you can be comfortable. Just adding fluff to a pillow does not add necessarily. It doesn't make it stronger, right?
Right.
So, I understand what you're saying. I'm not against 32. I just don't know if you can go that deep.
It'll probably never happen, but that's what I would do.
I think
that's
I
what
think
I
that's
would
a
like
great
to see.
idea to talk about. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But there is one more thing that I would like to say, and it might upset the SEC fans in the chat. Just because you guys got higher ratings than the Big Ten does not mean that the SEC is a better conference than the Big Ten.
Right, I agree.
And Mark Rogers and Terrell MVP on the Voice of College Football always talk about the ratings on his show, and I can't even watch him anymore because it's so bad.
Well, Mark's a Big Ten guy. That surprises me a little bit, but
Oh, he's also worked for ESPN for almost 20 years. So
well, but he's not with ESPN anymore, right? I mean, he shouldn't get the scarlet letter just because he worked with them for a long time. But I'm teasing you. I understand what you're saying. I think Mark's extremely smart. He's data driven. He's looking for measurables, and at the end of the day, money equals power. Usually, those two go together. You get success. And he sees those viewership numbers in the SEC, and it's hard to argue the top end of the ACC isn't more viewed top to bottom than it is in the Big Ten. Just
that's all I had.
Okay.
For tonight.
Well, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much thanks for all you do for us, Ryan. Thanks for the super
all right,
chat.
thanks for taking my call.
Always. He is Ryan Willie. The Evil Badger in the house. Thank you so much for calling in, Ryan. It's always great to talk to you. That opens up the phone line. Dave in Tampa, call me back. I'll answer you. Hopefully I don't screw it up again. Ryan knows what he's talking about, people. If you're not familiar with Ryan, pay attention to his posts. He is not a dummy.
Call from
Dave in Tampa.
Dave in Tampa, what's going on tonight, man?
Man, I don't know what's all this about. I saw something yesterday, but I haven't really had a chance to get into any of this 20-team crazy. It sounds like it's just they're trying to negotiate their way to 16 teams. Is what it sounds like to me.
Oh,
that's exactly what it sounds like. ESPN's trying to do. They don't want to go to 24, so they came up with 20, so they can hit at 16.
Yeah, that's exactly what it would end up being, right? 8 becomes 4.
Yeah.
That's essentially saying the same thing. That's right.
Yeah, I don't, and I got push back on your premise that there's not that much difference between 12 and 20 and 24.
Okay.
Because you look at those, there's actually 2-game difference there. There is. You're looking at a probably a 10-2 team compared to an 8-4 team. And usually when you look at those 8-4 teams, right, you got a lot of those 8-4 teams. They're either like consistently 8-4, right, or they're starting to move the needle. And if you look at teams traditionally that are on the rise, right, you're only going to make a jump by 2 games. If you were a 6-6 team the year before, and you had a couple of games that were kind of close, you could have won. Maybe you missed a field goal, or right. your opponent kicked them that last second field goal was time, or yes. something happened. Well, in the next season, you find a way to win those 2 games, so you improve to 8-4.
Okay.
You're not seeing teams going from 6-6 to 9-3. You just don't see that massive of a jump, unless it's like Ohio State, who in 2011 went 5-7, and the next year they go 12-0. 2011 was the fluke, not 2012.
Right.
So,
but from a competition standpoint, can the 24th team in the country and the 13th team in the country play, depending on where the game's played and all those other things, home field, 3 points and whatnot, those teams play closer games than the first team and the 13th team. Isn't that right? Because I think in the top 25, you could take the back half of the top 25 and pretty much anybody can beat anybody in that group. Whereas you look at the top 12, it's I mean, now there are exceptions. Miami last year was a 10 seed, made it to the championship game. There are always exceptions, but it's I don't know. My rationale, and I can't remember if we talked about this or not. My rationale for the top 24 is, in my opinion, the top 24 teams on a given Saturday in a given situation, all those teams can play and be pretty competitive. Yeah, you're going to have blowouts, but I think you're going to have a lot more games that are competitive, that are fun to watch. I don't know that if you stay at 12, you continue to generate those
Well, I
ratings.
think you see better numbers with the 12, because I think 1 through, I thought this even before the BCS was even a thing, right?
Right.
Is that if you look at 1 through 6, usually there's not that big of a difference. It starts tipping over after 4 a little bit, but 5 and 6 aren't that far off away. They can easily. We saw what happened in the 12 team for first year in 2024, right? With the 12, right?
Yes.
Ohio State lost a couple close games during the regular season, and then they kicked it in the playoffs, right? So I think you'd have a better representation of the 12, and this is something I'm going to continue to hit on.
Okay.
All right, everybody, please, what is the group of 6? All right, what are they? Are they big boy football or not? Because we're placating to the group of 6. Well, you were, at the end of the year, you were 21 and number 25. But you're the highest 2 of the group of 6, so we're going to let you in. We're going to put you in 11, 12. So the 2 teams that work their tails off, right, to squeeze in at 11.
BYU and Notre Dame.
Exactly. And by the way, the hat you're wearing tonight is fantastic. That is a great hat, dude.
Thank you.
That is a great. I love that's a fantastic hat. I don't know what brand that is, but that's a nice hat.
It's probably. Let me look. Hang on.
But we've got to quit pretending that the group of 6 is. Well, what are they? You know,
Zephyr.
it's like
Zephyr is what it's called.
It's Zephyr. Okay, those are good hats. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a Zephyr. Those are good hats. I think I got one of those. But yeah, let's quit pretending that. Let's get rid of the group of 6. Let's just figure out something with this group of 6, right?
Yeah.
Give them their own playoffs or something. I'm sorry. It's not fair to the teams. It's not fair to the BYU. Who knows? BYU could have made some noise.
It would have made noise. I promise you. I promise you.
You know, I mean, give them a chance. You get the whole different season.
Yeah.
All right. And this is my point, right? They took and how well have those group of 6 schools that they place in at 11 and 12 over the teams that deserve to be there in the first place? How did they perform? They got annihilated.
Yeah, they weren't even really close, and I think
it weren't even close. It weren't even good ball games. And you're just talking about you want better ball games. Those aren't giving you better ball games.
Yes. I mean, what was who was the higher seed? Was it Tulane that was higher than JMU, right? What was Tulane? And anybody in the comments can remind me, or Daniel.
You know what? I don't
Tulane
remember.
Ranked? What were they? 24th or 25th? Houston was 24th.
I think they were 21. I want to say 21 or something. They may have been higher than that. I don't recall because I just don't follow Tulane, or I don't really follow the group of 6 that much.
My heart says I want everybody to be able to compete. My head says I think it's pretty much the A4 conferences, and the CF and the group of 6 should have their own sort of tournament to play for one spot.
And if you know what, and if you're a group of 6, right? If you're a group of 6, and you end up being 11 or 12, legitimately voted in at 11 or 12, then I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
You know, you could say, okay, we're not going to go to the group of 6 playoffs. We worked our way into the big boy playoffs, right? Because those schools are looking to move up to another conference. Speaking of, conference realignment.
Yeah, that's
I know you didn't want to talk about it, but there's almost no way you can't talk about it, at least a little bit, if you're going to talk about the playoffs or anything else, or even just any way, there's no way around it. And they should have a right. They should have a. They should have a. But they should have a way to get in. I don't disagree with that, but I disagree with them getting in when they don't deserve to be in.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, and I think everybody agrees with that, man. Look, I've watched BYU for years. You know, I'm a little bit of a little BYU fan. I mean, I never told you this before, brother. My wife, her dad was a bishop.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
See,
she's
we're
a
not
little
all
bit of a
bad.
BYU. Even though they weren't raised in a sports family, she's a little bit of a BYU fan. I always liked the colors and everything. I like your mascot and your stadiums. The backdrop is just one of the most gorgeous backdrops in college football.
It really is.
It absolutely is.
It's one of those bucket list games. If you can go to Provo on a road trip, I promise you, it'll be one of the best games you ever go to, win or lose.
Yeah. I've never been to Utah. Maybe one of these years we'll get out there. She's got a sister that lives out there.
Well, that's cool.
But
yeah, that's neat.
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
you can attest that we're not all bad.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not, dude. I've gained like 50 pounds since we met because she can cook. It's just detrimental to my weight. But yeah, dude, we got to do something about the group of 6, and I'm fine with it going to 16. I think you're at 12. I think 12. I think you're at the max. I don't see anything. I rarely see anybody past 10 really probably showing up in. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a rare. If we keep this going for a number of years, and you look at the numbers over time, I don't think you're going to see anybody over 10, probably even really getting to the national championship game.
See,
I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm going to say it's going to be a less likelihood that that's going to happen.
Right.
And Miami's a very good team last year, and they did absolutely deserve to be in. And I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be a bigger surprise than everybody thinks they are this year. I think Miami is. I think Miami's back, and I think college football needs to watch out for Miami because Mario Cristobal is that kind of coach, and he will win in that. He will win. He will win definitely more than one natty. I think he probably wins 2 or 3 while he's there. Because he's young, he's got energy, he's got fire. You know, he seemed to clean up the bonehead coaching mistakes they seem to always make in big games. I think he's got that cleaned up, and just another team I watch out for, and I've seen them like in all the polls so far. They've got them ranked right about the same, about 13 or so, is LSU. Watch out for LSU. Watch out for LSU, man. I've said this over and over and over again about Brian Kelly. All right, you can say whatever you want about him. Don't care. All right. Here's one thing that's a fact. Every time he leaves someplace, the cupboard is full. There was talent there when he left. Okay.
You're
okay.
You're going down.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There's talent there, and guess what? Lane Kiffin's going to do with that talent. Lane Kiffin's that guy. You love him, hate him, whatever. The guy plays the heel. I'm here for it. I love it when he plays the heel, and he embraces it. And you know what? That's gonna play very well at LSU, man.
Okay,
that's gonna play very well.
Let's leave it there, Dave. I appreciate you.
All right, brother.
In. It's nice talking to
man.
you. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
You bet. We'll talk to you later. Have a great
week. Go
Bucks.
Go
Go Bucks, man. Hey, no Tampa Bay Bucks. No Tampa Bay Bucks in the house. Let me change this thing here, and then let me go to right here. Let's see. Add to stage. Daniel the Gygax had a comment he wanted to bring up about the G6, and I will answer a comment, and then I will get to a super chat. Go ahead, Daniel.
Also, you got Ryan Willie with
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I'll get to it.
Here's the thing: they had to include the G6 to keep antitrust
That's right.
exemption or antitrust things from happening. Because if it was just limited to the 4 conferences, everything goes out the window. Then you'll have the Sun Belt, the MAC, whoever sued to try to get access.
That's right. Yeah, and they're in there by right. Will they be in there when they negotiate again? Is the question. And
they would have to be. You have
think
to.
Maybe
at
they'll
least
have access. They're not
Yes.
going to have. They're not. It's going to be a different world by then. And at the end of the day, what you're saying is true. They do need to be included, but if you expand the playoff, that inclusion doesn't have near the effect that it does right now. It's over.
And you got to remember,
in my
last
opinion,
year,
right now, it's overemphasized.
Yeah, and you got to remember, last year the reason why you had 2 G6 schools in there is because the ACC didn't know how to do a tiebreaker. It should have been UVA versus Miami in that ACC championship game.
Yeah, I don't even want to. Miami proved they were the best team in the ACC last year. I don't care if they won the championship or not.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you. That's a great reminder, everybody. Daniel knows what he's talking about. It's true. It's absolutely true. The current CFP contract says the G6 have to have access, and they have to have access because of antitrust, and they are concerned about getting lawsuits up the yin-yang. The same lawsuits that could happen if there's a P2 breakaway. The same type conversations are being had in that regard as well. Yeah, let me get to Ryan Willie's. Yes, the Ryan Willie right here, right now, and I don't have my bell. I'm going to just clap for you, Ryan. Ryan Willie gave 10 new memberships to the College Football Mafia family, 10 new memberships, and I appreciate Ryan doing that for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to cheer all these people on who got a gifted membership. If you received a gifted membership, in the comments, do me a favor, do the right thing, and thank Ryan for your new membership. If you're watching online and you find out you got a gifted membership, send Ryan Willie a message and let him know you appreciate his unselfishness and helping us grow this College Football Mafia family around here. These are new members: Yogi Buck, Joe Pack, Jeff Watson, Houston Pest Pro, Pee Wee Burnt Pizza, Don't Be a Moron, Devil Frog. Good to have you here, Devil Frog. It's great to see you. Galaf Knox, TB Bucks, and Rob Devick. You have all received memberships to the College Football Mafia members-only sections, member-only shows, member-only videos in our library. When this show's over, just go to the membership tab on the main page, right in the center of the screen. You can go to all the member videos, the member live shows, and I might as well bump the one I'm doing tomorrow. I don't have the topic yet because some stuff came out today that I'm not necessarily sure I want to chase down quite yet, but tomorrow I will pick a topic. But members only show either Wednesday night or Thursday night. I am giving myself a little time. There's always that opportunity that work steps up and makes me move it a day. But regardless, members only broadcast is what we do around here, and that's what those new memberships get you. A lot of you guys are renewed members. You know what's going on. If you're a new member, ask around in the comments about how things work, how you do the members only chats, how you do the members only emotes, all that fun stuff. So that's what you get. Thank you very much, Ryan, for paying it forward. And last thing I'll say is if you received a gifted membership, pay it forward, bring karma into your life, and buy a membership for somebody else. Be unselfish. Keep this thing going. That's how we're not getting rich off the stuff. We're just trying to keep more content going to members. This is one way to do that. Let me fix my screen here for just a second. Thanks again, Ryan, for those 2 new memberships. I want to get to this comment from friend of the show because I want to answer this directly so I'm not taken out of context. Mark's Holy Grail, a valuable member contributor to the College Football Mafia family. Also a college football playoff aficionado. a buff, as it were, in Seinfeld land. Why do most CFB fans forget that in 2024, a G5 team, Boise State, was ranked number 9 in the CFP final ranking and almost beat 12-0 Oregon in regular season? That was only 2 years ago. Come on, guys, be better than that. I would say this. I think that Boise State team was overrated, frankly. And when they played Oregon, Oregon really wasn't Oregon yet. What was it, the first or second week of the season? Boise State's tough. They're a tough out whenever you play them, but come on. The 9th ranking, in my opinion, was overrated. I said so at the time. I will continue to say so. I think they should have been in the playoff, but I think they should have been the 12th seed. So that's my justification right there, Mark. I realize that's happened in the past. There's also been national championships that I didn't agree with. So we agree to disagree in college football land. That's what we do. But I don't think this one example, I would, instead of taking that as the exemplar, Mark, I would say, what's happened since then? Was this Boise State run the exception or the rule? When I open up phone lines, you can call in and let's discuss this, Mark. I'd love to go over it with you. You know, I respect your opinion. I just absolutely, completely disagree with the premise. I think that the G6 will always retain access, just as Daniel said, unless there's some completely renewed vision for the CFP that really doesn't even involve the conferences, which is possible. You know, a Supra League, as I've turned my own. I'm not going to get into that now. Then they'd have access in a 24-32 team playoff if they rank in the top 24, if they rank in the top 32. Straight seeding. You know, I just, it bothers me when these one-off examples are out there to prove some sort of truism. I think this was the exception, not the rule. This Boise State game Boise State team was the best Boise State team they've ever had. There's no doubt about it. Genty was a fantastic running back. They had good offense and defense. But anyway, so that I just don't want you to think I'm ducking you, Mark. I just disagree with the premise. I don't think they're apples and apples. I wish everything was cross-play. I wish everybody can compete at the same. I wish there was no conferences. Everybody played regionally. Everybody played everybody all the time. And then we had a more fair measurement of what college football is. We don't have that. I'm not sure we ever will. But anyway, that's why playoffs will always have that extra little bit of juice when we're talking about college sports. All right, let me get to some more. Let me reopen the phone lines. I'm going to move on to the next news story. You're welcome to call in at any time. 801-899-6203. Call in anytime. I'm going to move to the next news story, and we will go from there, okay? Is that fair for everybody? All right. If you call in, it'll take me a second to get everything organized. Just don't flip out if your audio doesn't work immediately. And already, I knew this was going to happen. All right, so I'm off. There we go. Share this tab instead. Let's go here. Okay, I think I got you, Mark's Holy Grail. Can you hear him, Daniel?
I can hear you, Bomber.
No, hang on a second. They say you can't. Okay, Daniel's telling me I'm watching him below me, and he's saying I can't, and then he can hear you. So, okay, so go ahead. You have the floor.
Oh, I just wanted to tell you the main reason I put that comment wasn't so much to tell you whether I thought Boise State deserved it or not, even though I put a lot on-field stuff.
Right.
At Oregon, and they played them T to T, and they beat everybody else. But my point,
it's true. They did.
But the CFP ranked them number 9.
Yes.
They didn't get an AQ. You know what I mean? Even
Well,
if they did get an AQ.
They did get an AQ.
I know, but I'm telling you. But they were ranked number 9, Bomber.
They were
The
overrated,
CFP.
Mark.
No, I know, but what I'm telling you is that when we talk about not giving the G5 a spot, it should be because they never were even in the CFP. If we're going by the fact they went there and got beat, and it's sensitive, I know, and I don't mean to go below the belt, but the Big 12 hasn't done anything.
No, they
neither
haven't.
The ACC.
No,
I'm saying so you can't just. No, this isn't for you. My thing was to the chat when the chat says, let's do top 12 and no G5. If it hadn't happened for 5 years, if they'd had never been in the CFP, because that's what they did last year, Bomber, I heard it all year long. How can we put Duke or JMU or Tulane in when they're not in the top 25? And it's going to be like that forever. So I just want to remind people, NIL was 21-22.
Yep.
Boise State in 2024. We're 2 years away, and college football wants to take the G5 away and then just say, all right, let's just go by CFP. And I'm going, that's fine too. Boise State would have made it. So don't say that they do not deserve it, at least till they go 3 or 5 years. But anyway, that was my main reason. It wasn't that they were the greatest team. And you know me, I don't believe Bama should have been in last year.
Right.
They lost 2 out of their last 4 games. They lost in front of all of college football by 3 touchdowns. It could have been 4, but the CFP ranked and put them in. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that's my comment. But my big point for calling, and then I'll try to make it short, is
you're doing fine.
I challenge people that keep saying it's okay to stay at 12. You and I have done texts about it, and we've been on DMs about it. I just want to remind people, at 12, going into this year, going into next year, Notre Dame can be in like last year, and they can knock Rock and Rant's team out, even if Rock and Rant's team's ahead of them.
That's true.
That's with 12 that we have now. Number 2, if we stay at 12 and it stays the same way, people like Miami last year and Ohio State the year before, they get to not have to play in the conference championship game. They get to watch everybody else play, and then they get a home game, right? And then they get to go, and it's too much an advantage to keep it the same way when we see people that are going to the conference championship games are playing that extra game. So again, everybody that says keep it the same, they're going to have the new Notre Dame AQ. You're going to have the extra game still, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to go. So that's why, and I thank you for at least saying it the right way. That's why I tell people, and the other one is, and you're going to have the double bye with 4 teams that the last 2 years have been 1-7. Okay, Indiana's the only one team, and coaches like even Kirby Smart in the media days said it again. We don't like the double byes. So I'm going, why would they keep it the same? If they went to 14, which is like the NFL, you only have 2 teams with a double bye. And guess what? That they win and they go. So, and then, or 16. I know why they don't talk about 14 is because ESPN doesn't give them any more money. That's what I found out from someone else. It took me a long time, but we should go to 16 or 14. We can't stay at 12 because we have 3 things we all know could happen. Notre Dame AQ, championship game, those guys are paying an extra game, and then the Miamis and Ohio States, the guys that finished 3rd in their conference, they go there. And the last one for you, I'll finish on this. BYU and Notre Dame should have both been in last year, and I know a lot of people don't think BYU is good enough because of Texas Tech. Then Alabama shouldn't have been in. Either way, I'm okay, I tell people. BYU and Alabama should have both been out, or they should have both been in. And with 14, you would have had them both in, right? Or with 12, they should have both been out and Notre Dame in.
I do think there's something to the Big 12 needs to win games. They need to get more than one team in the playoff. I think both those things are facts. I don't play those down at all. It's the exact same criticality I'm putting on Boise State. They have been around for 25 years. They deserve their flowers, but there's getting there and then there's winning, and it is extremely difficult to do, as we've seen some, like the ACC, the first 12, SMU and Clemson both got boat raced. right? The ACC got 2 teams in where the Big 12 should have got 2 teams in because SMU shouldn't have been there in the first place. I mean, we could go through all these examples. The problem is the limited number and the limited access to the playoff. I have no problem for the G6 having a team in. I have no problem with an auto bid for the G6. But where they would have been was much farther down in the list, and there probably wouldn't have been 2 of them in a 2014
No,
playoff.
I agree. I agree. My main reason I was trying to tell you is that if we just went based on Texas Tech's, where they didn't score a point, they're 23-0. Would we say the Big 12 doesn't deserve it? Right? Because that was the only thing. So why would we say Boise State went to Penn State and lost, right? That they don't deserve it. So that's all I'm saying. We can't have, they either, people deserve, they get ranked, right? And then they get a chance, or they both get AQs. If the conferences are going to give an AQ, like Daniel said, yeah, Congress is not going to let them get away with calling it a national championship. They don't at least let them have a chance, right? But anyway, I'm just saying, when 2025 just kind of like a dagger, right? When people forget, that was just 2 years ago. The Boise State was in it, ranked in the top 12.
Yeah, it's
They
true.
were ranked in the top 12, so they deserve the G6. At least give them a couple more years. That's all.
All
right.
No, I think Daniel's right. I don't think they're going to lose their access unless the whole thing blows up and is reorganized.
Yeah,
I don't think the G6 spot is going anywhere. The only question I have is where are they seated, and that's where I'd like the straight seeding. If you go straight seeding up to 24, let's go out and play some football. That's all I'm saying.
Agree.
Even
All right,
straight seeding with 16 would be better. Anything's better than 12, as you say. So I appreciate you, Mark.
And
Thank you.
we'll talk another time, members only or something else. But you know me, conference championship games should matter. If you're a conference champion, say you didn't have the game because there's so much money and they got past that. I don't think they ever will.
Right.
But if you win your conference, it should mean something. That's all. If you're in the Big Ten or you're in the SEC or the ACC or Big 12, how do you just say, we went a whole season, game by game, playing rivals, doing everything. We won our conference, and you don't get an advantage over somebody else who's third or fourth. They had the fifth place team in the SEC in getting a home game last time. So it just kind of, I don't know.
Selection
They got to do
process
better
is
than
something
that.
else we haven't talked about in a long time, right? The committee is broken. The way that they pick the teams is broken. The over influence that ESPN / the SEC has is broken. So I want to break all of the controls. I want to break the wheel. I want to be Daenerys Targaryen. I want to go through and just destroy the whole thing and rebuild it from scratch. That's what I would prefer.
All right. Sounds good, Nathan.
Thanks.
Have a great rest of
Appreciate
the show.
you, Mark. You bet. We'll see you later.
Okay. Bye.
He is Mark from Mark's Holy Grail. Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate that very much, Mark. I want to get to, you can call in right now, 801-899-6203, 801-899-6203. I saw a super chat in here I don't want to miss. Evil Badger Ryan Willie, $2 super chat. Bama got in because ESPN wanted them in. That's true, and you could also say Bama got in because you can't keep Bama out. They were out the year before, and the world almost ended.
Call from
Caden the Diesel Freak.
Caden the Diesel Freak, what's going on, man?
Hey, Nathan, good evening. How are you today, sir?
Oh, another day, another dollar. What's going on?
Well, first of all, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, it don't matter to me. 20 don't even matter to me for the CFP. And it's good for the group of 6 teams, but, that's the only thing that's going to be good with 14 or 16, and then, Notre Dame, and then, Mark's Holy Grail, Mark's a Notre Dame fan, which,
well, he's a USC fan. Mark is a USC fan. He might be a fan of Notre Dame too, but I'm not sure about that.
USC, Notre Dame, it'd be good for them, but, it'd be bad in the end because, BYU or one of them would kick the snot out of them. Just saying.
Sure.
And I've told you this before this year, Nathan. BYU is a better team than Notre Dame right now, schedule-wise.
Man, I hope so.
And team-wise, depth-wise, defensively-wise, offensively-wise, I've said BYU is a better team than Notre Dame.
We will find out week 6 or 7, whenever the game is. We will find that
It's
out one
week
way or the
6.
other.
Actually, week 6 at
Okay.
Provo, because you have to think about this, Nathan.
Right.
It's your home. It's the home court. You've got Notre Dame where you want them, in a rough place to play
Yes,
at a
that's
rough
true.
time.
Yep, that's true too.
So you've got them right on the target. And once you get them worn out, they're not going to play the rest of the game actively. They're going to be pretty much not going to be able to play the rest of the game, quite frankly. But my thing is, like, you know, it's good. Like I said, it's good for the group of 6 teams, but I mean, Boise State and all them, and who wanted to make a little relevancy, you know, JMU and all them. But I mean, you watch JMU and what was it? Boise State, and they got the snot beat out of them by Oregon and Ole Miss. And I mean, good for them, but it was just, ouch.
Okay.
But I mean, like
That's
I said,
funny the way
Nathan,
you
I'm not
say
against.
that. It's. I mean, it's not wrong. I guess it just depends what your perspective is.
Yeah, and like I said, it's good business, but at the same time, you know, it gets the group of 6 fans, you know, excited because their team's, you know, now ranked and they in their conference, and now, you know, you got the Sun Belt, or you got the Big East champions that are going, you got the Mountain West champions, North Dakota State.
So,
you know, it gives them that opportunity.
Let's do some.
You know,
Let's do some
get
math.
a little light.
Caden, let's do some math here. Right now, the Big Ten and the SEC are worth twice what the Big 12 is. Okay.
You know what?
No. Let me finish. So they're worth twice as much. What is the Pac-12 worth? Is the Pac-12 worth half as much as the Big 12? No. Is the Pac-12 worth a third of the Big 12?
No.
Maybe. We're not sure. But it's going to be closer to a quarter of. So it's not the same rate of depreciation in money and resources and everything else. If you say the Big Ten and the SEC have a 2x value, the Big 12 has a 1x value, and can't even do that. You go 4, 2, and 0.5.
No,
so it's not the same. It's not the depreciation is not the same down the line. So what do? We have to either make it so that the G6 conferences make more, which is where I would prefer. I wish they were making more money so they could recruit better, so they can compete higher than the reverse, which is exclude them because they're act below some cross line. I would prefer everybody's in a big tournament. I love football.
Right.
I want more football games. I want more rounds in a playoff. That's my biggest tenet, is give more teams access. But you have to look at things mathematically, though. I mean, it's not. I'm just not making this crap up about what the conferences should do or not do or qualify for the college football playoff. There's actual value there that makes a difference.
No, and I agree with you also, but here's my thing about the Big 12, and I've said this to you. The Big 12 has made a big impact in college football for the last couple of years. Texas Tech, and obviously and then TCU, and then Arizona State made a huge impact. And we all know that the Big 12 shocked everybody in 2022 when they beat Michigan. And Arizona State came close to beating Texas, and then obviously Texas Tech was undefeated, and then BYU was second to the Big 12 to go, play for a national championship, but Notre Dame screwed them out of the title that year. And in my opinion, when Ohio State was the national champion that year and we beat Notre Dame, I still say Notre Dame should have been out in that, and you know that. And I say the Big 12, in my opinion, now this is just my opinion, has value because of Texas Tech, because of BYU, because of those teams that made it that impact, in my opinion. Well, like I said, Nathan, I could be wrong or I could be a liar. You could tell me otherwise.
I'm not. No, for one thing, I can't call you a liar because you own your own opinion. I can't judge that. So, no,
Right.
it's fine. At the end of the day, we have to bottom line this stuff to really sort of wrap up some of these stories. And to wrap up the
Right.
college football playoff, at the end of the day, the 20 team, which is where we started, this 20 team idea for the CFP, and there's a lot more people watching us live right now.
Right.
It was a complete made up. The playoff committee didn't talk about it. The only person that really reported on it was Josh Pate, and then everybody else reported on Josh Pate, who works for ESPN. The 20-team playoff really is a non-starter in Big Ten country, so I don't think that has any chance in the world.
No. You know what, Nathan? I don't disagree with you on that either. And quite honestly, you've said a lot of stuff that I've agreed so far.
Well, that's great. I appreciate that.
And that's the truth. And
Okay.
I'm not going to lie or sugarcoat about it.
I appreciate
And
that.
quite frankly, there's things that I wish that would change, but I mean, it is what it is. And, you know, we got to live in the world that we live with and what college football's gone to. But, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
All right, very good. Caden, it's great to talk to you tonight. Thanks so much for calling in.
And a quick reminder, your folks, subscribe to the College Football Mafia. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. And if you're not a member of the College Football Mafia, be sure to become a member of the College Football Mafia. I've been a College Football Mafia member for, almost 9 months now. 9 months now.
You've been around
but I
a while.
really love it.
Yeah.
I love the benefits, and it's great. You get, you know, the members-only videos. I just stopped my membership because I had to pay some extra stuff, some truck repairs.
That's fine.
But
I appreciate
I mean,
it.
it is what it is. But,
Thank you. I appreciate you regardless.
But like I said, folks, if you haven't subscribed yet, you have to, because Nathan, Daniel Gygax, and everybody else, and Mullen, and everybody, Professor Ute, they have a lot of great stuff that they talk about, and quite frankly, I've agreed a lot with them. I've barely disagreed on things because, I mean, you know, these guys know what they're talking about, and I can quite frankly say they're the best at it. So, again, if you ain't a member, become a member, and do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, click the like button, and follow everybody on Twitter because, I mean, they post a lot of good stuff, and Nathan posts a lot of good content on Twitter also of some breaking news. So, all right, well, I'll get my head and toes out of here. So I'll catch y'all later.
Thank you, Caden. Have a great night. He is Caden the Diesel Freak. Thank you so much for calling in, Caden. I appreciate you. That's a fantastic call. I appreciate always hearing different people's opinions. It is awesome. I love this right here. Rock and Rant in the house, by the way, at College Football Express is his channel. Also contributes at the College Football Mafia. Also a valuable member of the College Football Mafia. Caden needs a College Football Mafia NIL deal, to be honest. That's funny. And it's very true. And it's very, very true, Rock and Rant. Caden does deserve an NIL deal. There's no doubt about that. It's good to see you, Rock. Thank you so much for being here tonight. All right, call in right now. Let's see. I mean, I could talk playoff all night. Let me look here and see if I want to move on to one of these other stories. Really, really good comments today about the playoff. Let me get to a couple other stories. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. I'll do that in a second.
Call from
Tawtown Hawk.
Tawtown Hawk, what's going on, man?
Hey, Nate. 2 words for you.
Okay.
Money ball. Or technically one if it's a compound word, but money ball.
Okay.
That's the word of the day. When you're
All
talking
right.
about, you know, you're worried about inclusion or disclusion when it comes to the G6. I think what you're going to see over the next 5 years, if you haven't seen it already, we talk about, hey, everybody's got to be able to compete and evaluate well out of the portal and project who's going to work well with other players, or you just go the other route and overpay for everybody out there that you just knows top tier talent and go, the Texas Tech way.
Right.
I'd actually say Cignetti's probably kind of a combination of both. I mean, they've got a really good budget, and he just happened to put the right pieces together, both from James Madison and out of the portal.
Yep.
I can't think of the kid's name, but the quarterback from Cal. I mean, he's only a Heisman winner last year, but
right.
So, point being, I think regardless of the gap in revenue from Big Ten, SEC to Big 12, ACC, everybody, including the bottom half teams of the P2, are going to start to roll into a significant money ball pattern.
Okay.
I think what that means in the long term, you are going to get significant roster rollover every year. I know they're instituting the new pool of money for retention, but
well, they haven't approved that yet. That's in the PCSA, so that's a proposal.
If it's rolling in there, more than likely it's been discussed amongst coaches, athletic directors.
Probably.
So even if it doesn't get in that, I think in some form or another it'll wind up as part of the policy further down the road.
I think it is possible that the A4 conferences do their own rules, which just happen to mirror each other, and they will put in something like that. That's where I think we're going to go, because the PCSA is DOA, has been from the moment it was brought up in the first place in the current form. It's just a bad bill.
Well, did you notice how quick there was a turnaround from the Big Ten and the SEC to suddenly support it all of a sudden? Last week or the week before?
Yeah, it was 10 days ago. Yeah.
That coincided alongside that ruling by the judge, wasn't it? Or I want to say it was within 24 hours or something.
Yeah, everything sort of came together, and there was a rush. But it was a whole lot of energy for not a lot of content.
Well, what I honestly think I think they kind of tipped their cards a little bit. I think the Big Ten and the SEC are scared to death of these lawsuits, particularly when they start talking about the amount of revenue that they're going to be up for grabs or possible judgments against them.
Yeah,
I mean that's a significant amount of money. I mean we've gone all the way back to the Alston decision, the opinion written by the Supreme Court Justice that said, you not only do you need to make this deal, you need to make this deal, or it could be as much as what was it, 10 times worse in damages?
That's what they estimated. Yeah, the damages in NIL back pay for the previous 5 years could be like 10x or some crazy number. So settle at $2.8 billion, and a third of that goes to the lawyers, like all 8 of them, and the rest is to be shared and stolen from schools that aren't in autonomous conferences to give to the richest in the autonomous. The whole thing, the House settlement was broken, still is broken. PCSA is broken. The CSC is broken. There is nothing that is working that has been instituted in college football in the last 3 years. I would even argue the college football playoff is not working the way that it should.
True. Something to consider to the Big Ten and SEC, whether they are paying out to athletes or whether they are paying out to the athletes' lawyers, doesn't really matter to them. Either way, they're looking at risk mitigation on that loss of revenue.
That's one of the things that's a concern. Yeah.
I think that's the major driver for Big Ten and SEC is whether or not it's a fantastic decision for them competition-wise is not is not the ultimate driver. I think it's about risk mitigation and making sure that they're insulated against some potentially devastating lawsuits coming down the road. Because you notice they're suing more and more.
What is the price to their freedom? What will they trade anything for?
Well,
the conferences
I still think you go back.
What is the no?
There's
one answer.
There's already a precedent set. If you look at it, I mean, we're borrowing again from the professional situation or the professional structure. The athletes more or less they get half, right? I guess it depends from league to league, but is that pretty much on par if you average it out between the football, basketball, baseball? It's more or less
No, it hasn't been.
Okay.
No, it's like basketball. Well, now it might be a little different with the 20.8 million on the money that comes from this 20.5 million. Roughly 17 or 18 million of that has been going into football. So the remainder has been going into basketball.
No. I meant what at what point would they be willing to split going forward?
Well, the NFL's 50%. So I'm not sure what that would be. Mike, let me interrupt you though. I don't think it has the athletes thing. I'm not going to get into the history of how we got here and why everybody was pushing for the House settlement versus nothing. I was on the nothing side. Is an antitrust exemption. At the end of the day, the conferences in the NCAA will kill for an antitrust exemption.
Yeah,
that is
that's
the
what
only
they
reason they came up with the 19-5, and they started negotiating all their rights away. The only reason they would talk about any of that is because they want an antitrust exemption. And why do they want that? Because if they get an antitrust exemption, everything else can be wiped off. Everything else can go away. The NIL can go away. The price caps, the restrictions, all of those things can be put in by fiat, by declaration. And that's the one thing that we all need to be holding back. That's the one thing we should not be giving to the conferences, an antitrust exemption. I promise you this, I'm predicting the future. If they get an antitrust exemption and they're not trading away a vast amount of their powers, it could break college football. Absolutely could break college football.
Well, I think like Sankey was looking for one, about a month ago, that his big thing about wanting the clause in there about voluntary, but the voluntary
pooling of rights,
whether or not inclusion of collaboration on pooling rights,
right.
So more or less, the idea being if you were to give the Big Ten and SEC, their own antitrust exemption, or all four of the conferences, that sooner or later, because once they get it in there, they're going to break away down the road and say, "Ha, we already have it. You can't do anything to us."
Well, and
I think that would be the end goal for Sankey.
Were you listening to what Daniel just said about how the G6 will probably always have access to a playoff and the numbers and all those things? The one thing there's a couple things that would break that, but one of the things that would break that monopoly to include the G6, and I'm not saying I'm advocating for this, but one way for that to happen is to give the autonomous leagues an antitrust exemption, and then they would be insulated from those antitrust charges by the G6 conferences, and now they can go off and do their own thing. I'm not advocating for that. I think that would be the best football league, in my opinion. 72 teams, and let's go play football. But it's all about the antitrust exemption. Let me ask you a different question. 10 days ago, everybody was loving life, not me, but a lot of other people on this channel, partners of this channel of mine, were celebrating that there was a settlement behind the PCSA and the Big Ten and the SEC. The next week, it's gone away, and it's not even going to get a vote. Why the change? And why now does everybody again say that the PCSA's in trouble? I mean, why the changes so far back and forth?
Okay, well, I'll take a stab at it. I've said this before on your channel that I had personally been getting worn out on the conference realignment every day after day after day
Right.
discussion,
Right.
over
I know.
5 years.
Yeah, I know.
But
It is tiring.
and I honestly, when you think about that 19-5, all of a sudden you're looking at, oh, well, I guess that means there's still going to be 4 power conferences because nobody's going to add enough to destroy either the ACC or the Big 12.
Yep.
So, okay, we get that. We're pretty much stabilized for the most part where we're at, where you're not going to see a lot of changes, and we're not going to have to deal with a ton of conference realignment for the next, 5-7 years down the road, which I know certain particular fans of certain teams, including Florida State and Clemson, were probably, really upset about that. But I'd say the other, 32 Big 12 and ACC teams were probably pretty happy about that. Just because if you have to have the 4 leagues, you got a chip at the table. You know what I mean? Now, some not surprising lawmaker comes in at the last second and sticks an addendum onto a bill, which is what they do when they take their orders from somebody who's not happy about it.
Right.
Well, not surprising. So I think, it's going to slow things down. I honestly think it got so much heat right now in the political spectrum because it was a diversion from some of the, reality that's going on in the world. And every time something scandalous happens or something really negative, like $7 at the pump, that's when things that we hold very important actually have a shot at, getting some attention in the legislative houses.
Yeah.
So I think honestly, all the way up until re-election this year, if things continue to be a manure show, so to speak, in the world, they'll come back to it. I don't know if it'll be with more changes, but I think it's not just going to die. I think it will come back because it's convenient. It's a convenient and hot topic that can draw attention from people away from other events, which is a really nifty political tool.
I'm going to leave you with this, and I'll thank you for calling in to Town Hawk. I appreciate it. I would just ask everybody to think the last 7 weeks of time that has been spent in the Senate, would you like to have had them spending their time on other things? Because I think it's been a giant waste of time, all of it. I think it's
my personal feeling on the legislative process is right now it's all a waste of time.
It is all a waste of time. So why are we wasting it even more on a college sports bill that is so big it can never pass?
Well, I got to be honest. I'd rather talk about football and the possibility of that than talking about whether or not a guy is at a rehabilitation facility.
I guess that's something else to say. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of the realignment talk also myself, but I get what you're saying. I appreciate you calling in tonight to Town Hawk. Thank you so much.
No problem, bud. It's 105 degrees down here, so I enjoy this a whole lot more.
Stay in air conditioning, bro. Have a great week.
You too.
All right,
Thanks,
see you later. All right.
See you.
He is the Town Hawk. Thank you so much for calling in, man. That is an awesome phone call. Well done. Well represented. Some good topics there. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even require no editorial for me on this. Let me get to the last story that I'll get to, and then we'll finish the show. Last half hour, we'll finish with your calls in and more comments. Let me bring this up. Is it this one? Yeah, we'll do that. Let me shrink this down for just a moment. I paused phone calls, so don't freak out if you're not getting through. Let's go here. Sam C. Ehrlich, one of the many lawyers that I absolutely love. You guys know I have a bevy of lawyers that are and agents that are my friends that talk to me, will DM with me, all these things. Yeah, I'm not sure, Daniel, if we'll get to that. I'm not sure if I even care anymore. I appreciate what you're saying, though. This is about, and I don't know, you might not have caught it, but this last few days, the NCAA has continued to lose lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, temporary restraining order after temporary restraining order over temporary restraining order. They keep losing over and over again. The NCAA is feckless, in my opinion. They have no shame. And if you think they care about the athletes, you are absolutely crazy when it comes to benefits, because their actions do not stand up to what they say. And this is fantastic for me. I want to share it with you guys. So Sam C. Ehrlich, I posted the link to his article here. The NCAA put in an emergency request, an emergency motion to stay the preliminary injunction that happened in Colorado. I think it was either the end of last week or, yeah, it'd have to be because it's now Tuesday. Temporary restraining order, essentially, to let athletes that were wanting to fight fifth year, the 2022 athletes were completely cut out and kicked to the curb, weren't given fair treatment, as it were, to play for a fifth season. All the NCAA had to do was put in a waiver for the 1 year, and the story would have been over, and we'd be talking about other things. But they didn't do that. They lost another lawsuit. I guess it's not completely done. They put in another emergency request that's going to be held on Friday. I'll read this from smarter people than me. Trey Wallace says, breaking, Judge Sweeney denies the NCAA's emergency motion for administrative stay and motion to stay the preliminary injunction pending appeal in the Colorado court. For the time being, allows playoffs to stay eligible. And so the players want to stay eligible to play football and basketball this next year. Okay, that's fine. Whether they get that or not, that's not the story I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at is what this judge says about the NCAA. And I'm just going to read this. I'm going to read these last. Does it start up here? I love this. I'm just going to read this whole thing. This is the judge saying this in this court case, okay? Before explaining why, the court makes a preliminary observation. So they're doing their own editorial. Not my editorial. This is a judge. The NCAA advances an argument in its stay motion that it previously advanced in opposition to plaintiff's preliminary injunction motion. The court has no business engaging in judicial micromanagement. In other words, they're saying, you guys keep suing and suing again and suing again, meaning the NCAA, to try to get their way, and they keep losing. And the judge is saying, look, I can't stop you from applying more and more lawsuits, but you're going to get the same rulings back. Okay? In its preliminary injunction order, the court acknowledged the wide berth that it must afford to business judgments before finding antitrust liability. In other words, the NCAA has wide-ranging powers already. But in these individual cases, they keep losing the individual arguments. And it provides such a wide berth in its consideration of the parties' arguments. Yet this does not absolve the NCAA of its obligation to comply with federal antitrust law, nor does it absolve the court of its obligation to apply that law to the facts of this or any case. The court is neither an economic nor industry expert. However, the court must also discern, in other words, think for themselves, and apply the law as it finds it. And this is the best part. And in this case, the record showed and continues to show, as it explains again, that the NCAA is in a bind of its own making. The NCAA is in a bind of its own making. It is not the lawyers' faults. It is not the athletes' faults that they're doing these lawsuits. The storyline has been out of ESPN land and out of the A4 conferences especially, but mostly ESPN, they're blaming the lawyers for trying to protect individual athletes' rights. Who's the fault? Is the fault with the people trying to sue to keep their own rights, or is the fault with the people trying to enforce broad and unenforceable rules? Well, don't take my opinion for it. Take it from the court. The court is neither an economic nor industry expert. However, the court must discern and apply the law as it finds it. And in this case, the record shows and continues to show, as explained below, that the NCAA is in a bind of its own making. In other words, its own business judgment gave rise not only to the court's finding that plaintiffs had shown that they were likely to succeed on the merits of their Sherman claim, Sherman antitrust law, but also gave rise to exactly the chaos about which the NCAA now complains. The NCAA is complaining about its own chaos. At the bottom line, the NCAA made its own choice, which comes with its own consequences. I gotta take a breath here. This is not new, everybody. This same ruling has been done from different judges hundreds and hundreds of times at this point. Please bookmark this. Please get a hold of Sam Ehrlich. Ask him his opinion. He's a nice guy. He's a professor of law at the University of Boise State University. This is not Bomber making things up. This is not college football mafia making things up. This is not everybody ganging up on the NCAA and the autonomous conferences. It is not any of those things. It's not the lawyers' faults. It's not the athletes' faults. It is the NCAA's fault. I'm passionate about this because I have been saying this since I started stuff on Twitter almost 5 years ago now. This drives me nuts. The NCAA does not deserve an antitrust exemption. The antitrust exemption is like a wide-ranging grant of power that they can do whatever they want. Do we want to give that to them? Do we want to continue to provide that monopoly for the NCAA and the autonomous conferences, who are just as at blame if they're not named here? They all want the same thing. They want control, and they want to tell everybody else to go jump in a lake. I stand on the side of the athletes. I stand on the side of getting together and being militant in their Declaration of Rights. They're wanting a collective bargaining agreement so they can negotiate all of these things, pay scales, and all these controls that the NCAA and the A4 conferences want to instill. They can get if they give the athletes just a little bit. If they give the athletes a CBA. And that's tough to do it at a federal level, I get that, but you can do it at the conference level. They're certainly starting to rise up at the school levels. If you're an athlete and you're watching this, I implore you, stand up for yourself. Go and form a group. Call yourselves a players' union. Do whatever you want. Take action on your own, because if you wait and you continue to wait, the NCAA and the A4 will not come your way. They're not going to give you more control. I promise you that. They already think you might already have too much control. So I'm imploring all of you watching right now, anybody might want to watch this on demand, I'm begging you, don't take my word for it. Go and do your own research if you don't believe me. But I am not making any of this stuff up. Darren Heitner is not making stuff up. He is not the problem. Mitt Winter is not the problem. Legal experts are not the problem. The problem is in the NCAA and what it's trying to claim as their God-given right to make declarations from high on above, and we just have to sit here and take it. The last thing I'll say is, everybody here, we hear each other out. Everybody's opinions matter. I love listening to you guys with different ideas. That's why I come here, is for the conversation. But I am begging you. I am absolutely begging you. If for some reason you might be tilted against the players and they're getting together and organizing and all those things, and I'm a middle-aged guy. I'm 57, 56 in just a couple weeks, actually. I'm an old man. I grew up in a really not a labor-friendly household. Generally fairly conservative. Unions and me have not generally, but in this case, in this one instance, none of us are even here. I don't have a show. Daniel doesn't have moderation. None of you people have anything to do. Your degenerate football watching YouTube shows and Twitter interactions. None of us have anything to do. None of us have anything to do without the athletes. We are not watching football without the athletes. And it is 2026. The athletes deserve a seat at the negotiating table, and they definitely deserve a bigger piece of the pie than they're getting. They deserve whatever they can earn, and all I can just beg you guys to support is a collective bargaining agreement. If they do individual collective bargaining agreements in the conferences, they can instill and negotiate things like pay scales, position wage scales. I mean, all kinds of things you can negotiate because you've got an agreement with them. Collective bargaining agreement. A lot of people aren't familiar with them. That's cool too, right? I'm a lot self-taught. But I'm not making this crap up. And if you think you don't like me just for the hell of it, that's cool. But this is what's happening out in the world. We all need to realize it. All right. That's my last soapbox. I appreciate you listening to me there. Let me get back to where I'm here. I'm going to open up the phone lines and I will continue to read comments. I don't think I've missed any super chats, so I will get to as many of the comments that Daniel has starred as possible. Let me open up let me go here, right? Yeah, do all my checks. Let me turn on the phone lines. The last 25 minutes, and I will say this. If I will stick around longer than 24 minutes, generally I end up at the top of the hour. I will stick around longer if you guys keep me around with super chats or new members, like Ryan did today. Ryan did 10 new memberships. Thank you, Ryan. Gifted those things to people. That kept me around the extra half hour. I generally try to sign off about 9:30 Eastern. So if you guys keep me around with phone calls, super chats, and comments, I will stick around. So let me bring this banner back up so everybody knows what we're talking about and how you can call in. 801-899-6203. 801-899-6203. Call in, argue with me, tell me why I'm wrong. Phone lines are open. While I'm waiting for you to call in, I will go backwards through comments. And yeah, we'll go until the comments run out or 24 minutes go by. And there's no super chats or phone calls to keep me around. So Yogi Buck, I love Yogi Buck. That's a fantastic name, by the way. It's one of the first guys I started reading on Twitter. Fantastic content. Follow him for sure. Then the band wants to get paid. Hey, look, yeah. Yogi's got it. The band wants to get paid. They should have. They're the ones playing. You're not going to see Motley Crue for the roadies. That's the simplest way to put it. You're not going to watch the guys moving around the gear in the background and the lights. I don't know, maybe some of you guys pay $100 to do that, but not most people. If you do, you're kind of nuts. But Yogi's got it right. I mean, they're the ones doing the work. I don't. Yeah, let's keep going. David Kreitzer. I think David Kreitzer is a fan. Boy, is it Boise State, David? No, I might have that wrong. Anyways, it's good to see you, David. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks for being a member of the College Football Mafia family. Big 12 had to solve the Texas Tech Sorsby problem, and they did a good job. If you've been following me at all, you know that I thought the Sorsby thing was broken from the beginning. Texas Tech screwed up in their handling of it. The whole saga was bad. It made Texas Tech look bad. And I think Texas Tech is going to pay a price for a while, which sucks. because Laura Barton, who's a Texas Tech fan, OG member of the College Football Mafia family, it frustrated her because she knows what's right and wrong. And the way Texas Tech handled that, they can't get out of conference games. Nobody wants to schedule them. Texas Tech, we'll have to see where they end up. But the Big 12, in that regard, they held them to account. And like it or not like it, I like the outcome. I don't like how long it took to get there, I must say. Let's see here. Rock and Rant. Oh, David, I'm definitely doing the other stuff. I'm just telling you that's what happens, but I like football too much to just talk about the legal and realignment. Rock and Rant, fantastic follow on Twitter. Has a great channel, College Football Express with an X, and sister channel to ours, essentially, and a contributor around here. Yeah, I burned out on realignment but it's been about 18 months. It was since the Florida State Clemson settlement. What was that, February, a year and a half ago? Realignment, at that time, I went about a month thinking, I was trying to come up with a way that it could continue to happen, and then I sort of threw my hands up, and I just don't see there's a lot of money for more realignment. Minimal realignment. A couple teams for the Big Ten, up to 4 teams for the SEC. The Big 12, if they really are trying to increase their depth, might go to 24. I could see that happening. Notre Dame's never joining a conference unless you take away playoff access. So realignment, I know you and Moen love it. I would rather talk about the legal stuff, and then I want to get into the season. I've been begging to cover season stuff for weeks. I'm hoping that this is the last week we have to. I'm hoping after Friday we won't have to do legal stuff either. That'd be fantastic. Let's see here. Let me get to more comments that Daniel starred. Thank you so much, Daniel. Kenneth Maynard, I don't think the G6 will be ranked fairly in the polls at all if there was no AQs. They would always get screwed. That's fair, Kenneth. Kenneth, who is a fan of the Eastern Carolina Pirates. I think that's true. And the same thing goes for the Big 12 and the ACC. That's why when 4422 came out, I wanted the Big 12 and I don't care about the ACC, but I wanted the Big 12 to take those 2 spots. Because of exactly that. The top 24 is not going to be perfect. We need to overhaul the entire system, Kenneth, but I agree with you. That's a good comment. Solar Null, good to see you, Solar Null. Also a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Notre Dame will always be top 12 even when they get owned by G6 teams at home. You speak no lies, Solar Null. That's all I can say. You speak no lies. The eye patch, another Florida State. Solar Null is a Florida State guy also. Let's compare ACC versus Big 12 in value. Who is worth more? You take out Florida State, Clemson, and Miami, and the Big 12 is worth more than the ACC. And you can look at that statement and say, oh, you're being qualifying, Bomber, and you're doing... Yeah, I am a little bit. But I, right now, and have not, since I started the channel, again, ages ago, you can check me. I tell no lies. I have not counted Clemson, Florida State, and Miami in the ACC for years. I've always had them moving up and out. So when I look at the ACC, I look at everybody else. That's including North Carolina, by the way. And I think pound for pound, Big 12's worth a little more. I'm not saying it's like generational wealth difference, but I think it is worth more if you take those 3 out. But I just think Florida State, Clemson, and Miami are in a different league. And the ACC is the most upside down league in the country. The Big Ten used to be. It's not anymore. Big Ten and SEC are closer together in their own. The ACC is the most top-heavy of top-heavy conferences of the 4, in my opinion. Believe it, don't believe it. That's my opinion on it. Let's see here. Get to some more comments I haven't gotten to in a minute. MBM. Good to see you, NBM. Also, founding member, sort of, years ago. It's good to have him back in the fold on our shows. Great to have you back in the College Football Mafia family there, NBM. You've always had that sort of spiritual connection. Coaches should just vote and crown a national champ at the end of the season. Well, they used to do that, didn't they? At least ADs voted. Not ADs, sorry, assistant coaches back in the day voted. The coaches poll anymore, yeah, I don't know. They're all the polls need overhaul. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there you go. That's another way to go, certainly. Jose, do you see? Good to have you here, Jose. Jose's been around a long time at College Football Mafia. Projections had $2 to $2.4 billion as the actual value of the CFP. I think, and that's, I'm sure that's right. I don't know off the top of my head. I'll take your word for it, Jose. I think that value is much increased by now. I think it's much more, and I think it would have been worth even more money if it would have gone to open market. But as I said to start off the show, the college football playoff never went to open market. And that's been disinformation for years. I said it at the time. It frustrated me that Fox wasn't part of the bid process, but it never went to open market. It's always been closed. It's always been owned by ESPN. Fox never had a chance to bid on it. I think this next time, if you go to 24 teams, now the contract's open, which is why the 20-team thing came around, to try to artificially keep it together. 24 teams, those games go to open market. I think the playoff is worth a lot more. But that's a good comment, Jose. Let's see here. We got a super chat come in. Ryan Willie, Evil Badger, $10 super chat. Greg asked me why I hate Minnesota so much. I told him that this 50-something Evil Badger has always hated Minnesota. I always said that Minnesota will lose Floyd, LBJ, and the Axe this year. Wow. Okay. Minnesota loses to Wisconsin. Ryan Willie, Evil Badger's calling a shot. Thank you so much for the super chat, Ryan. I think I love watching Wisconsin and Minnesota play. I watch their games. Very, very entertaining. Minnesota's a legacy. They have all kinds of national championships in their bloodline. Wisconsin has taken a step back a little bit. I expect them to go forward this year. It'll be interesting to see where they end up in the Big Ten. I haven't done my Big Ten preview yet, so we'll have to see what I pick. But thanks, Ryan, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. Get to some more here. Oh, where is it? Do I have it? I don't have the Cougar. Let's do this one instead. Let's do the money drop for my man, for the man of the hour. Let me get back here to Earl Carr, who's been a member for more than 3 years. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Earl Carr, if you don't know, is a BYU Cougar in the house. And I'm going to lose my voice because I'm so excited when Earl's here. I'm going to go applause. And I'm going to use some of these cheap sounders. And
Let him cook.
There we go.
Let him cook now. Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell. Guess what?
I love that. I love that. Earl Carr, super fan of the BYU Cougars in the house. He's been with us since the very beginning. He was like member number 3. I haven't seen Bill G for a while. Earl, do you know where Bill is? I've been trying to find him. If you see Bill in comments at some point, tell him he needs to chime in and say, hey. I've lost track of him for a minute for some reason. What the hell is Santiago doing giving Kalani the damn resources he needs? And sup, Bomber. It's good to see you, Earl. I can get to that story. I'm going to turn the phone lines off one last time. because we're going to be shutting it down here in just a few minutes. Earl, I've got a story for you. Give me a second. Where are we at here? I marked it. This one. Let me share this tab instead. Let me go here. So if you don't know the story, Kalani came out today and basically put, I'm going to have to make that disciplinary. I apologize. I like the money falling, but we need to get to the article. We'll move that off. Okay. Again, I marked to my own brilliant comment. I will give you the link because I give myself credit where credit's due. That's tongue-in-cheek for those that don't know. I'll put that there. In fact, let's see if I can... There's no reason to...
There's probably a...
Let's not take him out of context. Let's see if I can... I think I turned on audio. Give me a second here, Earl. Let's see if this will play. And you guys can hear the comment, and then I will give you my analysis. Let's see if this works.
Collection of things that I'm looking at. It's...
Oh, man. It's not going to do it. That sucks. Basically, Kalani's saying, I'm here. You kept me around. You told me you were going to give me money, and I haven't gotten what I need, what I think I deserve in resources for to run this team, to win a national championship. Everybody in BYU Cougarland freaked out. This is Jerem Jordan, who works for BYU TV, by the way. He took that quote, and it's not out of context. He definitely said the words, but this is my analysis on it. I think it's spot on. The quote from Kalani Sitake is not what many think it is. He has every right to expect the best resources for players and team, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I give to both the NIL and an NIL club. I pay for BYU sports. I contribute, and I feel like I own part of the team, if not being a lifelong member of the family. Anyways, he has every right to expect the best resources, and I and all of us. And right here, you've got it. Everybody that is a BYU Cougar thinks that we need to give him what he needs. Earl is spot on about that. But BYU football deserves nothing less. These are the growing pains of success, though. Let me finish my thought. I sort of interrupted myself. Coaches comparing against Big Ten, SEC, and I should have put Texas Tech on here because Texas Tech was part of the quote. He's like, I want the resources like Texas Tech has. Well, if you say I want the same resources Texas Tech has, who are you comparing to? Are you comparing to the same resources that Utah has? Or are you comparing to the same resources that Mississippi State has? That Minnesota has? I'd even go that, Clemson has. That Miami has. That Florida State has. That any brand that you would look as a premier brand in college football, what are they getting in terms of money? So think about it. Which do you think it more is? He's comparing resources against Utah? No. He's not comparing against TCU. He's not comparing against Georgia Tech. He's comparing against Texas Tech, who everybody knows has an outsized demand for money. Okay? Don't take his crap out of context. He's saying exactly what he means. We recruit against the absolute best in the country, which is true. 4- and 5-star athletes. Everyone should take a deep breath. I'm talking to Cougarland. The best organizations should demand the best resources. And I'm going to finish with this. I don't know who made this, but this is a fantastic thumbnail. I could not agree with this quote anymore. And I think people need to just slow down. Kalani wants to be the best in the country. He wants to win a national championship. His path to doing that is getting resources that Texas Tech has. And by the way, the rest of the Big 12 should not take that as a slight. You need to measure against yourself. Oklahoma State, TCU, Baylor, Kansas State, Kansas, measure against your own programs. Hold yourselves to your own standards. Measurements against other schools, I don't even like the comparison to Texas Tech, frankly. I don't think he needed to say that. But he was trying to make a point to BYU boosters. BYU has money. That is not the problem. The problem is in the administration and how they're divvying the money up to the different programs. BYU is paying good money, NIL, for football players. Earl. We kept, 18 of 22 starters? Something like that from last year's roster? Or 16? Teams coming back and playing under Kalani, the number is extremely high. They are turning down millions of dollars to leave the program because they want to play for Kalani at BYU. BYU has no problem getting the money. The problem is the way the administration is divvying it up, and that's what this shot is across the bow at BYU. That's what this is about. So I would just tell Earl, I love you. You're smarter than I am. You know this stuff. But BYU just needs to, BYU fans, we are PTSD, man. We see one thing that can be termed as it a little bit small and everybody flips out. That's not this story at all. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Thanks, Earl, for being here. I appreciate it. I love seeing you. Go Cougs is what I'm going to say to you. Last thing, and oh my gosh, Stephen Pitts at the end of the show comes in and off the top rope gives 5 more College Football Mafia channel memberships. I'm going to give you claps, claps, claps. And to both you and Ryan Willie for giving up what you have for us. I will give you more raining from the roof, and I will do more applauses. And winners.
Winner.
And we will
Guess
finish
what?
again with my favorite.
I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Thank you so much, Stephen Pitts. Let's finish with those gifted memberships. I want to make sure we get them. If you received a gifted membership, in the comments right now, shout out Stephen Pitts, who's been around for us as a College Football Mafia member and part of the family for a long, long time, by the way. Stephen Pitts has. Battlestrap, Kenneth Maynard. Oh, no, you already had a membership. Sorry, Kenneth. Cranky Tiger, Fearfully Confident, Carson, and Jennifer. Jen Santee. Oh my gosh, you have my cell phone number. Where have you been, Jen? Are you doing okay? Jen Santee is a super fan of the Florida State Seminoles. Social media, follow her on Twitter. Jen Santee, super Seminole fan. And you now have a renewed membership to College Football Mafia, man. Jen, you gotta send me a DM on Twitter, call me, text me. I want to know how you're doing. Check in with me because Jen is fantastic. It's just a fantastic human being. I hope your family's doing well, Jen. I hope your kids are doing well. Everything's going well. I'd love to talk to you and reconnect. It's been a while. I've missed you. You've been missed around here. People have talked about you, and we have missed you. I promise you. So thank you so much, Stephen Pitts, for giving those gifted memberships at the end of the show. Thanks for all the new members. I cannot say enough how much we do this for you guys and not for ourselves. Let me see if I can turn this off so we can finish the show without all these distractions. Although I love the following money. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. I don't think I've missed any super chats. Daniel Gygax asks, where is that crumble cookie money? Hey, look, Kalani, the last time Kalani said anything close to this, he got a $9.5 million contract out of BYU, which is crazy. I'm not going to go into BYU history or how BYU's put together or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at all, but spending money is not something Mormons, if you want to call us that, generally they're pretty stuck up with their money. Me being one, I've had to live the life, man, as somebody that wasn't born into money. I know what that feels like. Mormons are cheap because they want to use their money for their families and other things. So last time Kalani spoke up, crumble cookie guy came out of nowhere. and gave him and underwrote his new contract. And then they promised all these resources, and that's what Kalani's saying. Hey, I stuck around. Where's my resources? So that's what this is about. So that's it, Daniel. The money's there. Crumble Guy's going to be coming in at some point. I'm sure we're going to hear it in the next few days. But this was a pointed message. I didn't mean to get off on BYU tonight. I apologize for those BYU haters out there. That was not my intent tonight, but Earl Carr came in and sort of set me off. So I hope everybody has a great night. I will see most of you guys that are new members, especially for my members only show, which will be tomorrow or Thursday. Watch my Twitter feed. Follow me right there at Bomber_College Football Mafia. Use that number 3 for the E and you're keyed in. I appreciate everybody. If you're watching on X, do me a favor, open up another window. Go to College Football Mafia. We're the only ones on YouTube, so there's no excuses for signing up for the wrong one, and hit that subscribe button. And last but not least, if you've become a member or you want to gift a membership like has been given tonight, hit that dollar bill next to the comments box and gift more memberships, and we will always shout those things out. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I love the discussions, love the arguments. I'd love to continue these things as we go during the week, and I'll see you at the members only show, and then I'll see you on Friday night for the Big Freaking Friday show with me, Wild Ute, and Moen After Dark, where we will talk about all these things and other things and argue, and you guys can make fun of us then. So everybody have a great night. Stay out of trouble. Thank you very much, Daniel Gygax in the background, for being that moderator. I appreciate you marking all those great comments. Thanks for being here tonight. And I will say, go Cougs, go Bombers. Yes, that's my RHS Bombers right there. Go Seahawks. That's the last thing I want to say is tonight. Well, it's not the second last thing. Go Seahawks. Watch Hard Knocks. It's on HBO right now. Seahawks Hard Knocks. And according to everybody who's ever done analysis for the NFL, supposedly this not only this season of Hard Knocks, but this episode tonight is the best episode Hard Knocks has ever done. That's how engaging it's supposed to be. Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl again, and we're going to take Hard Knocks and win. I'm going to say 14, 15 games this year. I haven't done preseason yet, but Seahawks are going to be badass. That's all I'm going to say. So go Hawks. And last thing I'm going to say, and I forgot to say it the last couple shows, if you have thought of somebody in your life that you haven't seen in a long time, like Jen Santee is, and their name or their face or their idea comes into your head, please send them a text, give them a call, give them a shout. In our social media world, everybody's separated by distances and we don't get together like we used to. I guarantee you will make those people's days, weeks, months, maybe even a year just by reaching out and saying, how you doing? If you haven't talked to them, let them know you care about them, and you will save lives. I don't say that pejoratively. I'm being dead serious. The statistics say you can save lives. You can be a better person too. So shout out to those that are in your circle and extended, and let them know that they are important and have value. All right, everybody stay out of trouble. Thank you again, Daniel. Stay out of trouble. We will see you tomorrow night right here on the College Football Mafia. And I appreciate you. We're going to say peace out. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the gridiron, folks. He's the signal caller, the general